Mojo was a student leader in the 1988 uprising in Myanmar. For that, he spent 12 years in a Yangon prison.
Yes, no possession.
At a Mae Sot museum dedicated to Myanmar's political prisoners, he shows us the brutality of everyday life.
Punish possession.
Torture techniques that Myanmar security forces have used for decades in their attempt to squash dissent. The junta is accused of continuing these methods today, but he thinks the protesters happening now on the streets of Myanmar are much different than past uprisings.
This is going to be the last fight to end the dictatorship and a fight of judgment. Even though the civilians do not want to become refugees fleeing from war, the situation might arise in which they might very well have to become refugees.
Along this section of the Thai-Myanmar border, there's little preventing people from crossing over. Because of the volatile state in Myanmar, Thai authorities have stepped up patrols, but have also intensified contact with those on the other side.
We are monitoring the situation and we have been communicating with our neighbors, especially the armed ethnic groups along the border. We have been sharing information.
The Mui River here serves as the border between Thailand and Myanmar. One of the KAWIN ethnic armies, you can see one of their camps right across the river. They say in there they are sheltering hundreds of people who have fled the increasingly violent crackdown by Myanmar security forces. We met the head of a Mae Sot refugee committee in a football stadium local officials will use as temporary housing if refugees start coming across the border. As many as 1,000 would be housed here. He's concerned about resources, as the Mae Sot area has been home to Myanmar's refugees for more than 40 years, fleeing fighting and economic hardship.
If many new refugees come to Thailand, there might be a strain on resources for the existing refugees. If donor organizations provide funding for the new arrivals, we'll probably lose out.
The sun sets on Friendship Bridge, ending a day in these uncertain times for Mae Sot, a community that's for decades served as the main gateway between Thailand and Myanmar, both physically and culturally. But with the unrest now unfolding in Myanmar, the differences are becoming more evident, the separation becoming more defined.